And cross live to Iain Duncan Smith, of course, Tory MP, former leader of the Conservatives. Good evening to you, Iain.
Good evening. Good evening.
You listened to Rishi Sunak there. Do you feel galvanised? Do you feel full of positivity and hope following his words?
Well, I think he said the right things. So whether it inspires me or doesn't inspire me is in a way irrelevant. The question is, are we going to act on it? And the reality we've seen on our streets every single Saturday and in other cities as well, apart from London, we've seen really quite intimidating marches. A lot of people feel very intimidated. I'm talking to a lot of Jewish people who are frightened now. There have been a lot of chants taking place. I had a comment with somebody who'd been chanting away from the river to the sea, and I asked them, what do they think river to the sea means? And they said, oh, it's about, restoring Palestinian peace. I said, it's not. Hezbollah and Hamas came up with this comment. It means clearing the Jews out of Palestine. So, a lot of people don't quite know what they're actually doing, but it's very hateful. And these sort of things damage people's lives. They worry them. And here in the UK, people shouldn't live like that in fear. And that's what he was saying. We need now to take action where this is necessary to stop this sort of process. Of course, peaceful marches, fine. It's people's political right. It's part of the freedoms, but not in an attempt, too often it seems, to intimidate others and to impose themselves on them. And George Galloway is a product of what's been going on over the last, well, not just the last few weeks, for some time now. Radicalism has, literally taken root here in the UK, which is very sad.
I mean, we're seeing a situation now, aren't we? We've already had the MP, Mike Freer. I'll be speaking to him a little bit later on in the programme. He's saying that he's not going to run again because of these threats. I remember you yourself, I think back in 2019, some of the experiences that you had were really unpleasant, graffiti at the offices, social media abuse, and I'm sure my memory serves me correctly as well, and I think I've even got an image, and I apologise if anyone's squeamish, but I think you yourself was sent like a decomposing rat at some point during your campaign. I mean, how do you guys deal with this kind of stuff?
Well, we just get on, really, I guess, is the way to do it. I mean, I've had death threats. I had a death threat last year, which accused myself and my office of being Jewish. Well, I'm not Jewish, but I'm proud to have been thought of being Jewish. I think that it's a ridiculous statement to make, but therefore there's a death threat encompassed in it. It goes on. A lot of other MPs have had the same. I just report these things to the police, hope that the police will take action. Sometimes I'm a bit concerned because they seem as though they shrug and say there's nothing we can do about it. But I do think that action needs to be taken by the police. They need to recognize that some of these things are genuine threats. But all of that notwithstanding, we're here to be accessible. I would never stop people coming to see me. I'd never stop going to people's houses to see them or to talk to groups such as was the other day at the community library for fear that something would happen to me. You just accept that and get on with it. We live in a society that is tolerant for the vast majority of the people. But those who can't be tolerant are those who think that they have to take direct action, those who want to make people feel scared. I think we should have only one message. I thought the Prime Minister made it today. Your time is up. We're not going to be so tolerant to people who have no tolerance in themselves.
And lastly, do you think all MPs should have security?
When I was leader, turned down security because I didn't really want it encumbering me, charging around. I didn't have security when I was a Secretary of State, and I've always sort of been very uneasy about MPs having security between them and the members of the public. So it's up to individuals, I think. It's up to what Parliament decides. But I do genuinely think the most cherished thing, I know constituents feel it, is their ability to get to their members of Parliament when all else fails, for them to talk to them. It is a peculiar service. I had a Nigerian security that was sent to us a year ago, I think it was, when there had been some problems and some threats. And he walked down the street with us while we were knocking on doors, and I was knocking on door by myself. And about after an hour, he turned to me and he said, "You never see this anywhere else." He said, "It wouldn't be in my home country. It wouldn't be in any other country I've been to. It is peculiar for you here to walk around by yourselves or often just knock on doors and be accessible." And that's the cherished bit about being a member of Parliament, is being able to get to your constituents, for them to get to you without worrying or looking over your shoulder. But we should sustain that. that needs action where the police need to take it.
Iain Duncan Smith, thank you very much for your time and your reaction.